welcome to this spooky video. This time we are doing stories about when our car broke down. I have Vanessa here because she can tell her story as well. This time we have, but this type of tea is really good. My dad got it and I don't know, it's delicious. So,
and I'm somebody that I don't like tea, you know, and so for me to say this is really good.
Inaugural tea ceremony starting begin. So we're going to start with the one that happened longer ago, and that's just Vanessa. So.
Oh, okay. I was going to go first. It occurred one day. I was heading to go babysit. For those of you that watch my vlogs, you're going to think I'm lying. But I'm someone that I really like to be on time. And I was going to go early. When I started my car, I already noticed that my car was making some funny sounds. Instead of like a car driving smoothly, like mine would like stop every once in a while. I ended up stopping at a stoplight, but when I went to go press my gas wasn't working. I tried putting my hazard lights on and they worked only a little bit. I couldn't get my key out of the ignition too. I started panicking. I called Joey. Luckily he was still home. Then I also called my dad. He said that he would try to help me as soon as he got off after work. And so I called Joey. So I was parked next to some sort of mechanic shop place. I thought it was lucky that I was parked near like a mechanic shop, but I went inside with Joey. We went inside. There was this lady there. She was very hella rude. So I wanted to have someone help me move my car to the parking lot where I knew there were spots, so that way, you know, because I don't want to be in the way of people driving. But she basically told me that everyone was busy. I'm like, it's not going to take that freaking long. I'm asking for someone to help me move my car.
Literally, like it was turning lane right here, and then you literally pushed her car like not even freaking 5 feet, and then like she would be out of the way of everyone else.
I'm like, can I at least stay here for a few hours while I wait for my dad at home? You know, it's literally like less than 2 miles away. It's really hot that day. And she's like, no, we're not responsible for it. It's not going to be here all night. I said, but I'm not planning on living here all night, just for at least at the most 3 hours at the most. We ended up sitting inside, freaking hot. This woman's eating her freaking Burger King sandwich and having a small little fan directed at her face, and she's talking on the phone, and she's talking to, it seems like a friend or something, because you can tell when someone is on the phone with a client versus with their friends. Their pop machine wasn't working because we were really thirsty, and so mixture between, you know, my car being broken down, being late to babysitting, and not sure what to do, then the fun thing kicked in and my anxiety attack happened. For me, when I get anxiety attacks, I have two different kinds. I have one part where when I'm really nervous, I get really, really cold and I start shaking because I'm really cold. And then I have another part where I get really, really sweaty. It's hard for me to like breathe, hard for me to catch my breath. I feel like I was just racing and I just can't think clearly, and I start crying and everything. So that was the one that happened. So I ended up having like a panic attack and tried drinking some water that luckily was there, but just seemed like hours. Yeah, it was a mess.
Yeah.
Well, my dad came, but somehow we got my key out of the ignition and we drove down the street to a car place to see what was wrong. They had said that my battery was just fine, so we were really confused of what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
So, but somehow, I don't really remember how, but somehow I made it home safely. That kind of caused me to have really bad anxiety with driving in my car, especially whenever I came to like a stoplight or a stop sign. My heart would start racing. I'm like, please just like continue working car. I ended up realizing when my car broke down that I left my lights on the night before for like quite a few hours, so that was probably the reason why my car broke down in the first place. But if only I knew that was the beginning of car troubles. Because I was so nervous about my driving my own car. I said, Joey, I need to go volunteer later that day. Can I please borrow your car? I'm really nervous about my car. And Joey was like, sure, you know, he was being nice, you know, like he always is. So I borrowed his car, went to go volunteer. Everything was fine getting there. But when I was gonna head home, I tried starting the car, and the car wouldn't start. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? So here I am, freaking panicky again. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I was like, what the heck? Like, I didn't leave the lights on, so I don't understand what's the problem. But I don't even know what. Do you remember what?
Yeah, for my car, it was the starter. So we got the starter repaired. But luckily, this place that we could actually leave it there overnight.
Yeah. And so then that's what happened is Joey's car got broken down. Of course, it had to be me freaking driving it. Got it fixed, and so far, so good. But I need some wood to knock on it.
So for me, Vanessa's story, I started off here, and it ended off here. So not a bad story. What about you?
I started my story here, like halfway, and then I brought it all the way down to here. So either it was a really good story, or it was really good tea. So now let's listen to Joey's story.
Okay, so I'm gonna start my tea inaugural ceremony for my story. And this time I'm filling it all the way.
Like to the last line?
To the hefty part. Unlike Vanessa, I don't have that much bad luck with cars. I've only had 2 problems with it before. One was when Vanessa was driving it and the starter went out. But that was not, that was piece of cake compared to their story. You know when you get on the freeway, you're supposed to go from 30 to 60 within 50 feet, or that stretch that you have, and merge into the traffic. And so I was trying to go really fast. Well, I thought it was going really fast. When you go super fast in the car, stops for a second, but then keeps going really fast. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my car started doing the first part where it started slowing down. And I'm like, why isn't it not going any faster? And so I was hitting the freaking gas. I wanted to tell you how fast you're going, and the other one's about pressure. And so I was hitting it, and the pressure one was going really high, but my other ones weren't working at all. I'm like, okay, what the heck is happening? So I'm like, I cannot get on the highway like this. I am gonna get crushed by other cars in the highway, and I don't want to be that person slowing down highway traffic. Luckily, the exit that I was taking it was kind of weird. So you go on this part, and then you have to get to the left lane, and then you're still not technically on the highway. You have to go further, and then you can merge onto the actual highway. That if you just stay to the right, you get off the highway. So I went that route because, of course, I'm not going to get on the highway this way. And so I noticed as I was getting off the exit, I noticed that my neutral light on my car was flashing. And so I thought, oh, hey, maybe I accidentally bumped the gear and it's in neutral. Maybe that's not why it's going any fast, because it felt like I was in neutral. But heck no, it was even a bigger problem. So after I officially got off the highway, I pulled into a side street, a residential area, and I noticed that my gear was still in drive. But I'm like, okay, maybe it's too close to neutral, so my car thinks it's in neutral. Should I put my car in park, turn it off, waited a couple seconds, turn the car back on, and everything was okay? I didn't see the flashing neutral sign. I'm like, okay, maybe it was just that. So I started going again, and as soon as I got up to 25 miles per hour, it did the thing again. Pressure was going up all the way, but I was not going anywhere. I'm like, oh my god, what's wrong with my car? I know when okay, the battery's dead. I usually know what happens when a battery's dead. I know what happens when the starter is dead. My starter is fine, my battery is fine, because my lights and stuff were working. My hazard lights are working, unlike Vanessa's. So I'm like, okay, what the heck am I gonna do? And my school isn't that far away from the place that broke down. It was probably 5 minutes away, not even. I tried to get on that street, but my car kept, light was still flashing, I was hitting the gas, nothing was happening. I didn't know, what I was gonna do. So, luckily, I pulled into a hospital parking lot. I was able to get to the hospital parking lot, and my first thing I had to do was email my teacher, because my class started at 5, it was 4:58, and so my teacher said that if you're gonna be late or you're not gonna make it to class, you have to email me before 5. If it's after 5, it's going to count against you. 4:59 when I emailed her. So, and it actually worked because she told me, okay, that's fine. And Dad was home to come and rescue me. It was about 15 minutes away. And he said, okay, I called my friend. So my dad's friend told my dad that it sounded like I needed more transition fluid. I'm like, okay, great. At least it's not something that bad. It's just transition fluid. How bad can it be? It got bad. So I had to drive that, and I drove it all the way to his friend's mechanic, and they were looking at the car, and then they're like, oh yeah, just transition fluid, it'll be fine. Until I said, well, I noticed that my neutral light was flashing, and they said, uh-oh. And so it wasn't just my transition fluid, that I needed. It was a whole new transition. So we found out that my transition completely died. Transitions are not cheap on cars. Like, they're probably one of the most expensive parts. And so I'm like, great. I love my car. I love her so much. I named her Eleanor. That mechanic friend was so weird. He told us that I should take my car home 15 minutes away, and then the next day come back, bring it so we can check out how much the transition's gonna cost. I'm like, and I kind of got sassy with him. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, can the car just rest here for a day? I said, why would we take a car that has a really bad transition, drive it 15 minutes away on a busy street that cars have to go 40 miles an hour or higher, and then do it again the next day? But okay, fine, we can just leave it there. So, and he made me give him the keys to my car. Okay, I'm gonna take my backpack, my chargers, my piggy bank, my jacket, and like, I'm sorry, boo, but I'm not trusting you guys. And so I went in Dad's car and we drove home. He got me Burger King. And
Daddy, not the mechanic.
that was just the kind of start of my troubles. So my parents are debating on whether or not to fix my car. It was going to cost $3,000. Either fix it or get a new car. And they ultimately decided, you know what? We're not going to find a car that's like my car that's worth $3,000. Like, it's going to come with a bunch of other troubles. When we know that this car's reliable, it works. The only problem with it is the transition. So they decided to fix it. And so we took it to this one store, but it's literally like 5 minutes away from the house. So it's like nice and convenient, I thought. So they're like, oh yeah, we can fix it, it'll be fine. They said it'll be ready in a week. I'm like, oh my god, bless, like, you guys are miracle workers. A week, and then I'll be driving it. It took a total of a month. Me and my dad went back about a week and a half later because they didn't call us about the car. And we're like, okay, maybe they couldn't get it done in a week. Let's give them another 3 days. Another 3 days passed. And so we went over there to check, hey, what's the status on this car? They said they basically fixed everything. The only thing that they needed was one part in the one part in the transition, and then everything will be good. I'll have it within a week. I'm like, okay, great, fantastic. You know, I understand, you know, parts, you can't get them all the time. They said that they had a really hard time finding this part, but they finally found the part in California. Another week passes, and so this has been a total about 3 weeks. Again, my dad and I were like, okay, they haven't called us yet, what's going on? And so me and him go over to that place again, and they told me that the people in California shipped them the wrong part. They said, give us 1 more week. It's going to be express shipping. We have to send the part that they gave us, ship it all the way to California, then they'll ship us the part that we actually needed. I'm like, ugh. It's been a freaking month since I had my car. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't drive anywhere. I had to rely on my sister, my mom and dad, and sometimes my friend to take me to school and home. It was freaking a disaster.
Joey's someone that he likes to be independent. He likes to drive his own car. And me, I wouldn't have really a problem. People.
Yeah, I really like my independence. Taking that car away from me was like the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Well, no, not the worst, but like, you know.
The worst.
The worst. Finally, we went over there for the 4th time. They said my car was done. I was like, oh my god, thank Jesus, Betty Christ. And so I turned my car on. I drove it home and it felt nice and great. And I was blessed. And I didn't have a problem with her ever since. So Eleanor is safe and sound outside. So
hopefully our cars stay that way.
And hopefully our cars stay that way. My story from me went all the way down to here with T. A little bit more than halfway.
Wow. For Joey's story, wow. So I started probably around here, and it literally ended right here. So it was really good, juicy story.
So I hope you guys enjoyed our car wrecking stories.
Hopefully we don't have any more.
Hopefully we don't have any more. If you guys enjoyed, please remember to leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys all again next time. I love you. I have some news. There has been a wrinkle in time on my channel.